This is my journey of PV, and as you can tell, I'm Scottish, so I apologise if you can't follow what I'm saying, but most of the stuff's on slides. So, the day starts, the sun is shining, what an amazing view from the window. I vaguely remember something to do with a mutation, or was it a mutant? I can't remember. I was lying in my bed and the doctor was speaking to me, and I'm sure it was about a mutation, but was it about one of these? I don't think so. Oops. This day last year, I was unable to move from my bed, unable to get back to work. My MPN journey had started. Over the year, before my diagnosis, I consulted with my GP about various symptoms. None of these symptoms were major, but as a package, they were all significant. July 2016, I presented at A&E with a trapped nerve in my neck. No big deal, I thought. I just wanted the pain to stop. After blood had been taken and a CT scan, I was sent home with pain meds. Then the next day, I received a phone call from the hospital. He says many things, but all I could remember was don't panic. Has anybody ever tried to not panic? It's impossible. As my notes become stuck together. In the hospital, I was given my first VENESECTION, and this is what my bloods looked like. My HAEMATOCRIT was at 68. For all those newbies in the audience, this is quite significant. I'd never heard of the word HAEMATOCRIT. I'd never heard of any of the words that the nurse said that day. Any mathematicians out there? That's how I felt. It was overwhelming. But wow, a relief. I had suffered a sore head for at least a year, and my head was now clear, and that was just after the first VENESECTION. My treatment would be aspirin VENESECTIONs with an aim to cause anemia. The waiting 4 weeks for the JAK2 mutation test, this seemed like the longest wait ever. I do understand now that this is because that was the only thought on my head. I began to understand whenever my body had enough iron, it would overproduce red blood cells. Anemia was something I looked forward to. Just out of hospital, I bumped into a very close healthcare provider, and she said how well I looked, and I tell her my suspected diagnosis. To this day, I still find this quote really funny. She says, "While you're laughing, I'll have some water." So, you've all read it, but I'll say it anyway because I think it's still funny. That makes sense. I'm sorry, I assumed you were an alcoholic with the red face. The first 3 months, A&E couldn't cope with me. I was in and out of hospital with severe migraines and dizzy spells. My fatigue finally hit at around week 10, after my 5th VENESECTION. This was when I decided I had to help myself. I had already found many papers on clinical trials for treatment of PV. After this VENESECTION, I spoke to my consultant about changing my treatment. At the time, he didn't see the need. The VENESECTIONs were controlling my HAEMATOCRIT, and I couldn't disagree. I tried to explain my symptom burden, my white blood cell count being extremely high, my desire to get back to work, but he still said we'd watch and wait. I felt my lowest. I felt unable to do anything. I was fatigued. I wasn't even bored. I was mentally overwhelmed. Another VENESECTION, and I started formulating my options through speaking to a huge list of people, including the local charities, Maggie's and Clan, which I believe are only in Scotland. So my options were, in Scotland, I could seek a second opinion. This is different from England. It's through the NHS Trust. and the first letter takes about 3 months for an answer. At this time, I felt I really couldn't wait for that. So I could have a private consultation, or I could watch and wait. So I dragged myself back to work. Every step was like going through mud. Work colleagues mentioned how well I looked. I thought, how is that possible? At the same time, I had to find the words to explain to my adult children. I thought I was being honest, concentrating the word PV. Unfortunately, my daughter found the word cancer through Facebook, Ouch, something else to find the energy and compassion to help with. Then a breakthrough, one from a survivalist, a specialist who saw patients privately. By the time I spoke with the specialist, I had found every published paper on PV since the discovery of the JAK2 gene mutation in 2005. Wow, I was very glad that my gene has decided to mutate now. This is a very exciting time for MPN research. Now, I love our NHS dearly, and the thought of going private was against all principles, but getting back to work was very important. Now, this dude in the corner is exactly how I felt internally when I was going back to work. It was a quick process. I saw the specialist on the Monday, and by the Thursday, NHS Scotland was funding PEG interferon. I saw this as the best Christmas present ever. This reminds me of another ET patient from Aberdeen who had posted on Aberdeen Hill and said, a wonderful view. My thought just 6 weeks before was that I wish I could get up that hill one more time. And even though it was very icy conditions, it was an amazing view. Within 4 weeks, I was back to work full time, back swimming once a week, walking every evening. The fatigue was gone. The only symptom still increasing is the violent itch and the mouth ulcers. I'm doing well with the mouth ulcer I've got. Since starting interfering, I've travelled as far as Chicago, of course with precautions. Swam once a week, climbed my favourite hill, my itch vanishes on my favourite island of Crete. I have my theory, why, but this is for the specialists to prove. Yes, I get tired easily. My poor husband does all the housework. See, a huge positive result. Who else can say their husband does the housework? I have personally gained from the wonderful experience, from the wonderful work the MPN Voice charity does. To keep the charity going, I've decided to give myself a huge challenge. Remember that itch in the water? Yeah. I am mad, but it gives me control, and this is important. On my 50th birthday, I started my swim. 1 mile, 64 lengths of a 25-metre pool for every year of my life. This is me after my swim. Nobody else can use the hairdryers. Remember that mind-altering itch in the water? Yes, I am definitely mad, but it gives me the control, which is important. If I dry my skin quickly, the intense itch lasts less time. It's a family affair. After my daughter and her friends ran the very wet Glasgow Half Marathon, and I just found out today she raised £600 for MPN Voice. At this event, another realisation, I am more willing to accept help. It's taken more than a year to fully accept this. My sister carried the runner's bags and supported me. I was and am still thankful. This was huge for me. It didn't mean I was broken, but it does mean I have accepted my limitations. Well, on the average day anyway. PV doesn't define me. It has given me a gift to appreciate life. I do believe that with a HAEMATOCRIT of 68 and rising, I wasn't too far away from some sort of life-changing event. This has changed my life for the better, thanks to the wonderful work our MPN specialists do. My last slide. Most importantly, water is my best friend. Well, internally anyway. Remember the itch versus swim? Yeah. Our journeys are all different. Information gives me control and an interest in PV. Your interest will be different. try and get out there and enjoy life. Thank you very much.